I don't believe that he could get justice for the damage that he done in other people's lives. So now all he got is a crust of bread in the corner to sleep in. If I'm being honest, fuck him and feed him beans. And everybody said he beat the serious charges. Well, he was never charged with the serious charges, but the serious charge was the gun charges, which would have gave him 10 years. When they blocked my car and where I couldn't go nowhere, and I had a guy with 2 guns to my head, get on your knees. I said, well, man, I'm too big to be getting on my knees, man.
You just heard the thesis, the twist, and the teeth. No real justice, not the serious charges, and 2 barrels pressed to a man's skull. Tonight we sit with Gene Deal, the bodyguard who keeps carrying rooms no one else wants to enter, and we test his ledger. Is justice the courtroom tally or the life you have to live afterward? We'll track the nightclubs, the courtrooms, the parking lots, and the moments where pride almost outruns survival. Here's the deal. Every 2 to 3 minutes, you'll get a payoff, then a new question, because nothing about this story resolves clean. Not the 1999 headlines, not the industry silence, not the way danger keeps interrupting ordinary nights. If you came for neat endings, you're in the wrong neighborhood. If you want the truth as the people involved remember saying it, stay with us.
I don't believe that he could get justice for the damage that he done in other people's lives. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to repair things that are so broken, especially when the people aren't here no more, for you to repair them.
Before we chase names and nights, understand the rules of this world. Power doesn't always shout, it edits. It edits charges, edits memories, edits who gets believed when the room goes quiet. Gene isn't asking you to pick a side. He's asking you to pick a standard. If the truth feels inconvenient, that's the alarm, not the enemy. Tonight, we're going to slow headlines down to human speed. We'll walk into a studio where the music is louder than accountability. We'll stand in a parking lot where pride is a price tag. We'll sit with mothers who never got the whole paragraph, only the period. And every couple of minutes, you'll get a receipt, time-stamped, on camera, in his words, so the myths have to move out of the way. Stay with the ledger. By the time we hit the last page, you'll know why say less is the wrong instruction, and why survival starts with saying more. The industry loves verdicts. Gene brings consequences. He splits hairs the headlines glossed over. People brag that a mogul beat the serious charges, and Gene cuts in. No, those were never even on the table. The low-gloss reality, he argues, is the gun level counts. Automatic time if pursued. That isn't gossip, it's a worldview. Justice isn't what trends, it's what sticks to you when the cameras leave. And around that legal frame is a culture of warning shots, literal and figurative. When Gene says he called danger before it arrived, he's not celebrating prophecy. He's indicting a system where everyone hears the alarm and still walks into the fire. That tension, who pays and when, drives the rest of this story.
And everybody said that he beat the serious charges. They could have hit them with the gun charges. They talked about guns in the trial. All he had to do at the time with me was to simply apologize. Let the people know the truth. You hear me? Yo, Gene tried to tell us not to go out that night. Big may not have died that night.
This is where the ledger gets heavy. Gene isn't asking for revenge, he's asking for acknowledgement, for mothers to get the full story, for debts to be paid without a judge forcing it. He measures justice not by who walks free, but by who has to knock on a mother's door and explain the silence everyone else kept. He draws a straight line from the lie you tell a family to the violence that keeps rippling years later. That's why the mantra hits twice, first as anger, then as armor. The only way to move is to stop waiting for apologies that never come.
You telling somebody something like, yo, if we go here, somebody gonna die, and then they end up dead. You know, that always is in the back of your mind. You said this was gonna happen. When I pulled his lifeless body out of the car, you could smell that he had defecated on himself.
The room tells on itself. When Gene walks you into the studios, A-listers in the hallway, producers in control rooms, you hear a different kind of law. Who can stall a session? Who can restart one? Who decides which problems go away? This isn't conspiracy, it's choreography. Paperwork and perception move together. The louder the record gets, the quieter the accountability becomes. That's why Gene keeps circling back to language. What charges were on the table? What wasn't? Because he's mapping a culture where the story that sells can outrun the story that happened. And in that gap, people get hurt. He's not just naming names, he's naming a mechanism. File it under power, plausible deniability, and the price of proximity.
I don't want to mark my head, but if I take my hat off, you'll see that I got a scar right over here. Boom. Because he hit me with the gun. You think it's funny? And I said, nah, it ain't funny, bruh. But y'all came to rob me, right? It's a robbery, right? Y'all good, right? So the other guy hit me on this side with the other gun. The dude said, yo, run. I said, bro, I'm gonna walk real fast.
Here's the cost of proximity in surround sound. No crowds, no cameras, no publicists to smooth it out. Just metal and breath and the math of angles. Gene narrates like a pro. Count the hands, not the faces. Treat every shadow like a muzzle. The lesson underneath the fear is procedural. Situational awareness isn't paranoia, it's a plan. And listen to how he frames it, not as a heroic stand, but as risk inherited from larger games other people play. That's the justice versus outcomes ledger again. Some folks argue about rates in warm studios, while somebody else is deciding whether pride is worth a bullet in a cold parking lot. Cliffhanger. What breaks the stalemate? Fight, flight, or frame it? Gene picks door number 4. Hold the line with words that buy seconds. It's not bravado, it's calculus. Deny the posture that makes you easy to execute. Keep talking to crowd their thinking and wait for any change in the environment. When that hesitation opens, he turns it into daylight. This is why the earlier talk about serious charges matters. In rooms where paperwork outruns truth, people call outcomes justice. Out here, surviving the night is the verdict. The reward lands fast. You now understand the creed. Don't perform toughness, perform time management under pressure. Next, we chase aftermath. Police, a near miss, and who actually pays? After the standoff, the noise doesn't end. It just changes accent. It was crazy. That's the line, but the subtext is paperwork and pulse. Gene flips from survival mode to sequence mode. Who called? Who showed up? Who wrote it down? This is where the ledger grows arms and legs, statements, clippings, the kind of details that keep you honest years later. Pay attention to how his tone shifts, the adrenaline drops, the memory tightens. We're not chasing drama now, we're chasing receipts. The point isn't to sensationalize the fear, it's to lay out why he keeps arguing that justice is bigger than a verdict or a viral headline. When you can map the night minute by minute, you don't have to raise your voice. The paper trail shouts for you, and it doesn't forget.
Because these young kids now, they'll say, oh gee, say less, say less. No, I need to say more to your ass so you would understand where I'm coming from, bro. Because you're not understanding what you're doing is going to determine how you live the rest of your life.
Here's the pivot from incident to instruction. Gene rejects the trend of cutting elders off mid-sentence. Say less is how you lose context. Say more is how you live long enough to use it. He's explicit. The next choice you make won't just set off tonight. It will program the rest of your life. For our story, that matters because it reframes every previous chapter. The club, the studio, the parking lot. None of them are isolated. They're classrooms. The lesson isn't that danger finds you. It's that guidance can find you first if you don't mute it. Clip this creed to your timeline. We'll pay it off in the close with a blueprint you can hand to somebody who still thinks they're invincible.
Write 5 things that you could change in your life, and we're gonna do one at a time. A lot of these kids don't have no guidance. Easy, easy. They give you a caseload anywhere from 68 to 120 guys.
Final payoff. For all the headlines and hearsay, Gene cashes out with something simple and surgical. Write 5 things you can change. Work one at a time until the list starts writing you back. That's not a slogan. It's field tested from a parole officer who managed 68 to 120 lives at a time and still chose to speak instead of staying silent. Justice, in his frame, isn't a courtroom trophy. It's a daily discipline, owning your choices, telling families the truth, and refusing to let power rename what happened. So we end where we began, but louder. No real justice? Maybe not in headlines, but there's justice in the ledger you keep, in the people you pull back from the edge, in the stories you correct before they harden into myths. Say less, number. Say more, then do more. And if anybody asks why you're still talking, tell silence never saved a life. We're closing the file for the night, not the case. The ledger's still open, and the people who think silence is protection should remember, it only protects a lie until the first brave mouth moves. Gene's not selling revenge, he's selling responsibility. And the receipt is the next choice you make when nobody's watching. If you learned anything here, it's this. Headlines fade, habits don't. Write your 5, burn 1 lie, tell one mother the whole story, then do it again tomorrow. Because the streets don't grade on a curve and history doesn't care about your PR. We'll be back with more names, more timestamps, and fewer excuses. And if the truth you heard tonight makes somebody uncomfortable, good. Sit with that. because the next chapter doesn't wait for permission. It's already moving.